Welcome to my latest Stitch with me. Thank you for joining me. I am working on Vakara's wreath. I know I was going to restart this, but I can actually see this. I can figure out where I was. I am stitching this on 25 count 1/1 full cross on DMC, and I think it is a cream Lugana, and I gridded it myself. So happy New Year everybody. I hope you've had a good Christmas and New Year or Hanukkah, whatever's applicable. Happy holidays. It's just starting to warm up here for summer. It is meant to be 27 degrees Celsius tomorrow, so that's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's actually quite warm for us. Excuse my bruising on my hand. That was for my infusion. So that was a bit problematic getting my vein this time. And I had drunk heaps before I went in, because they had problems using the vein on my inside of my elbow the time before, because it had a lot of scarring from using that vein all the time. But she couldn't use it, she couldn't get through the scarring this time, and at all. So she said, nope, can't use that one anymore, we'll have to find another one. I said, okay. So she tried on my wrist. I have to show you this. So I have a nice bruise here too, and a bruise underneath. So what happened was that when she put the needle in, and they put saline in first, and it, instead of going through the vein, it blew up the vein. And so there's a big bubble. And it's like, She goes, is this painful? Going, no, not really. And she goes, it must be painful. I said, no, not really. And then the bubble was getting bigger and bigger. And I said, I don't think that's working. And she goes, yeah, I don't think it is either. So she goes, I need to try somewhere else. I said, okay. So she tried twice on my hand. So by all accounts, the veins on the hand move. They're quite mobile. And the first spot she tried, it kept moving. And then she tried further up, and it was successful. And all I could think the whole time is, well, if I'd known that they were going to do it there, I would have bought my stitching, because I could actually stitch. So the whole time I was texting with Dave while he was shopping, and going, well, what are you doing now? And he kept sending me photos of where he was. And then he told me before I went to my infusion that he was going to the warehouse to have a look at plants. And then he sent me a picture of the Mitre 10. And it says, I'm not sure what, a mega warehouse? I'll put a photo in here. And I'm going, this isn't the warehouse. And he goes, no, it isn't. I'm going, okay. I said, it's Mitre 10, isn't it? He goes, yep. Okay. And then he goes, I bought you a new vacuum cleaner. I said, did you now? I said, I'm sure you'll enjoy using that. It's still in the box. So I had to laugh over that. We had been talking about buying a new one for a few weeks. So, because I've got these fancy ones that are cordless, and they were really good for the other house because it had no pile in the house. But for this house, they're actually not very good because it's new carpet. But we can't get over how we were forever vacuuming in the other house, and we actually only really need to vacuum once a week here. And funnily enough, the only thing that we collect from the vacuum cleaner here is white fluff. I wonder where we get that from. Cocoa. It was funny, somebody was commented on my last video and they said about cocoa photobombing my last video. She sat at the corner of my whole last video watching. So admittedly, the place where I videoed last time is where she sleeps at night. She sleeps on that sofa because the bedroom's right next to it, and she can see the bed from there, and she will watch the bed the whole night, and if she sees me roll over, she'll meow as if, you're awake, come on, get up. So if there's any movement in the bed, it's definitely like, it's time to get up. So it doesn't matter if Dave rolls over. She didn't care about him. It's only when I roll over. So I have to laugh over that one. So supposedly I'm going to have my infusion in Clutha next time. They are going to be ready for it. I hope so. I hope that I can actually have my cortisone injection in a couple of weeks in my shoulder because the pain hasn't lessened. It is very frustrating. I'm at 41% of my Haid cell. And you'll laugh at this. I measured my fabric for my Haid cell, and then I started it over about 4 blocks from where 100 stitch blocks, or 10 stitch blocks. I moved it over. I'm talking about those blocks. I moved it over about 4. Why I did that, I'm not sure. It was definitely MS brain then, because I had it all gridded where I should start, and I'm unsure why I did that. I don't know. So my edge that I'm going to have on the right hand side is 3 squares, 3.5 squares, so about 1.5 inches. So I'm still happy with that. It doesn't really bother me having 1.5 inches because I can always add, fabric on to the edge for when framing. But it was, I don't know why, the other day I had an epiphany and I thought, why have I got a massive 5.5 inch border on the left hand side, because I know my fabric was the right size. And it's like, that didn't make sense. So, yeah, I don't know why I did that. I've never done that before. That is the first time ever I've done something really stupid like that. Yeah. Admittedly, my fabric was heaps bigger in the beginning. I did cut a wee bit off it. and it was still too big. I knew it was too big, but if I'd started the 3 inches too big, it wouldn't have mattered that much. But in the end, it's still not going to matter. It's not going to bother me hugely. So we've got stock agent coming today. I will add a little video clip in at the end because of our calves. It's just a wee few calves we've got of our red Devons. This is it's for anybody that's interested in some of our pedigree stock. The ones that Dave got. I'm not sure we're going to keep with the red Devons. There's several reasons. One is they're not growing. They don't grow very quickly. They're on the cow. They get kept on the cow, the red Devons. And our calves that we did on milk powder are bigger than the cows on the car. The calves on the cow. And it should be the other way around. Predominantly cows that rear their calves are normally twice as big. So Dave has been laughing. He's been break fencing these cows and calves. And he said he goes to the paddock and all the cows are in the paddock and the calves have gone underneath the fence and they're picking all the clover and all the best out of the next break before the cows get there. And he said as soon as they see him coming, they run underneath the fence and go back to mum. And when he's moving the fence, they go over to his motorbike and start rubbing against it and that sort of thing. So he's got a picture or a wee video clip of that. So I will add that in at the end to show you. They are quite cute. Very cute, actually. So I'm pleased I decided to keep going with this Vicara's Wrath and not redo it. I hope you can see this actually. I need to move it a bit. Can you still see it? Oh look, you can. It's not. There. Where was I there? Need to mark it off. Look, I've done 94 stitches. I am stitching quite slowly. The funny thing is, the other day, Dave, is that right, Coco? Dave has a ute, and on the back of his ute, he has a canopy that it's like a roller door on the back to cover the back of the ute, so he can put stuff in the back and it doesn't get wet on the back of his ute. And he went milking, and then he put his phone on the back of the ute, and he took his overalls off, and he took his gumboots off and put jandals on because he went to the supermarket after milking to get a few things for tea. And then he got back in the car and he couldn't find his cell phone. He looked all around the car and everything, couldn't find it there. And I rang him up to see where he was, and he answered his phone via Bluetooth hands-free in his truck. And it was like, oh, okay, obviously I've got my phone because it went through his speaker. So he said he'd be home in a few minutes, and I said okay, and then he got his wee few groceries out of the car, and he said, I need to find my phone out of the truck, and I said okay, and I said I'll ring it so you can hear it to make it easier to find. That was fine. 5 minutes later, I'd rung it half a dozen times, and he still couldn't locate it, and I said, well, where is it? And he said, I think it is in the back where, so he'd put it on the back where on the top of the roller door, and then he had opened the roller door, so the phone scooted along, and then what holds the roller door, it had gone into what holds the roller door, and then when he shut it again, his phone wasn't there. So it's like, oh. So I tried to get my hand down to reach it, and it's got like a brush all along it, and I couldn't reach far enough, and I said no, I can't get it. He goes, I can't open it, and he tried with his drill and with the Allen key, and none of his Allen keys would work. And I came inside and I said, look, I've got this one Allen key that I use for everything. It seems to work for everything that I want, and you can try it. This is my universal Allen key, and I don't know, anything that I seem to get, it seems to work. And he goes, really? He goes, it won't work. I said, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I said, if not, you're going to have to wait until, this was on maybe it was Saturday. I said, if not, you're going to have to wait until the garage opens on Monday to get them to open it all up to get your phone. And he goes, oh well, at least it's all dry and everything, because we haven't had any rain for ages. I said, okay. So I said, well, give it a go. And I was out there, so I tried the one side that I was on, and it went straight in, and I was able to undo the one screw that I was next to. And I said, well, looks to me like it works. And he's going, huh. And then the next one, I said, no, this is too tight. So he had vice grips or pliers, and he was able to put it on the end of it, and he was able to do the next one. So he got all four undone, which was really good. All four screws undone, and then he was able to open the top of the bit that the roller was in and reach down and get his phone. And it was all wet. Thank goodness he had protection, a phone cover on his phone. So I dried his phone, and his phone was fine, and charged it, and there was nothing wrong with it. But thank goodness it wasn't there all weekend, and we were able to sort it out. But only Dave could do that. We had a bit of a laugh about it. And he came back in, and I said, well, where's my universal Allen key? I want it back. I said, because it's really good to have. And he goes, but I might want to keep it. And I said, well, you're not allowed it. So we've got a universal pen that we use, and that's from Glendon Place. So that goes back in the same place every time we use it. I keep saying that if he wants to use the universal pen, he has to start cross-stitching. And now we've got this universal Allen key. So I put this back on a scroll frame today, which is quite a surprise. Normally I use Q-snaps or the nudge frames or nudge hoops lately, but I decided for this one that because it feels very tight, it feels very thick, even one thread full cross, that I decided I definitely wanted a wee bit more tension on this. So no wonder I was saying that it was really hard to see. I think it's really thick and hard to see. And I don't think it's just my eyesight. I think it is one of my harder pieces to see because it's so thick. So putting it back on the scroll frame was a really good idea. I have put this thread backwards. That's why I'm getting a few knots. I didn't check to see which way the thread ran. I am so used to using CXC at the moment that I'm not checking my threads. I think I have something at the back. And I don't know if I can turn it over. Aha. There we go. There we go. So Brendan had a physio appointment and a dentist appointment on at the same time. And I was saying to him that it was probably easier to change his physio appointment than it was to change his dentist appointment here, because it's not that easy to get into dentist appointments. So it's only his regular yearly clean and that. So he just changed his physio. So he's not going to enjoy it because his dentist appointment is at 8:30 in the morning. He doesn't get up until, I don't know, 11:30, 12:30. So with it being a wee bit warmer at the moment, we have we moved Coco's cage over, and or patio, and we have opened the our big sliding door over a wee bit more, so I can have the door open to make it a wee bit cooler. It's so annoying that I've done this. It's weird stitching with DMC compared to CXC. I must admit I don't mind stitching with CXC. I did think about, I had thoughts about my C-villain. Should I put that on 25 count since I can see 25 count again? And then I thought about it. No, I'm better off to anything that I have gone 20 count to keep it on 20 count and just push along anything on 25 count. And maybe it's just in summer that I can see them better. Not sure. I'm not wearing my glasses at the moment because my glasses don't actually help with my stitching. If any, I think they're too strong at the moment because my eyes come and go. They're not consistent. For distance, they're fantastic. Can't complain at all about the distance. But for close work, no, they're not helpful at all. But like I say, every day is a wee bit different. So the only side effects I've had since the my infusion is I've been really nauseous, which is unusual, but I don't think it's been the infusion. I haven't actually been nauseous for a long time. I think it's just my MS is picked this time at the moment. So I've had a good stitching day since I did my did my infusion. So much for us just going to work on that one page. I decided I'd just put on that page, but obviously I'm not. I'm just going to do cross country. This must look such a mess for anybody that fills in block by block or does diagonals or anything like that. It must be, oh my goodness, how can you know where to stitch? I don't count. I don't really count. I think how I do it is I look at shapes more. Yeah. Than counting. I've got another burr there. Yeah, I look at a shape of something and I go, okay, I know that stitch is there, then counting. So I think this is why cross country really works for me. Very seldom do I count nowadays. I think that's why I like gridded fabric. I think I will continue to actually grid this fabric. So I'm using a new software to edit my videos. I did a trial for my last video, so I will have to do, I think I have to pay for it this week, so I have to decide whether I trial another software or I actually pay for this one. I still haven't caught up with everybody's whip parades. I don't know about you, but I'm actually over whip parades at the moment. I think some of the problem is that I obviously have no willpower at all, because sometimes I look at something and I go, oh, I'd really like that. Oh dear, I need to pause. Sorry about that. I had a visitor. It was a Coco visitor. She decided that she needed to be up on my lap. Now I've got to figure out where I was. I don't get much warning that I'm going to have a Coco visitor. Neat. Not much warning at all. You have to excuse Dave in the background. He is spraying the lucerne. It has got a few weeds in it. That's about all that's growing. No, it's not. The lucerne is growing, just very slowly. We haven't got much water here at the moment. Because it hasn't rained. It's been a very dry summer. But Dave's garden's going really well. He is able to get salads out of the garden every night and new potatoes. So he was saying that he can't believe how much of a saving it is actually making just going out to the garden for vegetables. And because we got a cattle beast earlier in the year, he doesn't need to buy meat either. So yeah, can I flip this over? Probably not. Don't even think there's anywhere I can travel. Maybe there is. Yeah, where next? There. This is 198,750 stitches, and because I haven't, that's not in the way, because I haven't worked on it for so long, I was thinking maybe I should do 2,000 stitches on it this week, but I'm not sure. So the group that I joined for the round robin, I actually left the group. I talked about it to the person that invited me to the group, and I said I really don't think it will. When I got asked to join the group, I didn't get told that you had to divide whatever you worked into, whatever pattern you were working into, 8 parts, and then they would call a part and you worked on that part. And that's not really my style, so I felt really guilty about deciding not to do that, because I was really worried about having counting errors, and I thought, yeah, I could imagine, because I don't really count on many of my pieces, and after realising that I had, for some funny reason, not started in the right place on my height cell. I don't know why I did that. I thought I could imagine that I'd make a big mistake on a part and then have to frog a whole section. So I decided that I don't think it really works for me, actually dividing something into 8 parts and then having a random part called and having to work on that part. I didn't think it would really work for me, especially with the way I don't logically think now. My illogical thinking. See, I can't even say it. So have I fixed that at the back? Yeah, I think so. And I felt horrible leaving the group, but I decided that it just wasn't for me. So I'm not going to start that half the fun at the moment. I really want to limit my pieces, not start more pieces. As much as I want to start that piece, I just need to finish something. So what I decided I would do is, at the moment, I'm aiming for doing 1,000 pieces on my blackberry dragon a week, and I want to get that finished by the end of the year. I have about 32,000, I think, 32,000 stitches left in that. I have 37 I think, 1,000 stitches of arch left. I did 1,000, no I didn't, I did 918. I think Jess worked it out, we only need to do 800 stitches per week on that. So that's 2 days of my week already taken up. And then I've got, I don't know, 28 other whips. So for months that only have 28 or 29 days, really I'm pushing it to work on everything once a month. Especially when I'm working on pieces once a week. In my Haid sale, I try and get my 1,000 stitches on something, and then I pick that up and do as much as I can. Not only am I doing that, I then, once I've done, I try and do, I don't know, about 500 stitches on my Haid sale. I then pick up my bird weaver sale and try and get 200 stitches of that done as well. Not that I'm counting stitches now on that, because the first part I put in markup and it worked really well. I was able to mark off the stitches and I finished that part. And then I brought the second part in, and I was going to have to actually select every stitch that is on the second part for it to know which is a stitch and which isn't, because everything was off. Everything wasn't lined up for the stitches. It was just off center, and it was like, it was hopeless. So I decided, look, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend all the time to set up markup for that. It was the same as what Pattern Keeper was like, so I'm not going to spend all the time to set up markup just to count my stitches. Don't really care for that piece, if it counts stitches or not. It's a bit like a bonus piece. Look, don't know what I just did then. We will just forget about it and do my full cross. So I'm going to just continue to try and get some stitches in that at night, even if it's only, I know, 20 or 30 stitches every night, and slowly but surely I'll get it completed. I don't think it's a finish for this year. I just have so many pieces. Oh look, there's my start. not. So my, you'll laugh over this, after all that fabric there I dyed, sorry, I'm going to sneeze, excuse me. After all that fabric there I dyed, I had a huge piece of the Arctic ice from I'm not sure who it is actually from, I haven't got it in front of me. I decided in the end that it's an 18 count, why don't I try 1/1 full cross? I don't know why I didn't try that in the first place. And I'll see if it gives me the lacy effect that I was after. I don't know why I never tried that. So I did 437 stitches, I think. And yes, it looked all lacy. I gridded the area that I wanted. I think that was probably half the issue that I had as well. I had never gridded it, and I think because I hadn't gridded it, I probably wasn't that happy with it. And I had it on the massive piece of fabric as well. I need to, now that I've gridded, I know exactly how far it is across. I need to cut the fabric. I need to overlock it as soon as I figure out how to thread my overlocker, which is the serger. Dave bought me that for Christmas. He bought me a new sewing machine. It was a heavy duty one. And yeah. So I think I need to do that. And once I do that, maybe I will be happier with using that fabric as well. Because I do love the colour of that fabric. And the fabric that I dyed, I can use for something else. Not at the moment though. Really don't want to start anything new. We've got people coming to buy stock. And I assume that's why Dave is finished. Maybe he's finished spraying that paddock. It is pretty quick. I think I've got a knot in the back. Can I see it? Oh, look at that, I got rid of it. So I got the results from my MRI that I had before Christmas. How far have I done? Not that far. And the neurologist was happy. But quite frankly, I don't think it really meant anything because they didn't use the dye, so I really don't think it meant anything. But I feel better. I don't think I've had any new symptoms for ages. So I think it has halted my MS. So it is worth continuing with the infusions. I had to laugh. Athena, the stitching goddess, said on her video about you can get these sweatshirts that are really good for when you have infusions because they've got the arms. You can unzip the along your arm. Oh, you probably can't see that, sorry. they're along the inside of your arm, and from the elbow down to the wrist, and from the elbow up to probably your shoulder, they've got these 2 zips. And the idea is that it's so you can have your drip, you can, for anybody that needs to have infusions or a drip of any sort, you can unzip it and then zip it back up. Wow, it's on both sides. And I thought, oh, that's a really good idea for winter. I will get one of them because I get really cold when I have my infusion. Actually, they're not too bad here because I don't know if they do this elsewhere. When they do your infusion, they give you a heat pad, like a, oh goodness, Tanya, what are they called? A heat gel pad. Is that what they're called? That's not in the right spot. They activate by, they're in emergency kits. So a heat warmer, like hand warmers, the wee gel. So they have the capsule inside that you crack. I don't know if I'm making sense. So the wee heat pads, they put a paper towel down and they put it underneath your arm. And the idea is to make it easier to get the line in. So they put it over top of your arm before, a few minutes before, to put the line in, to make it easier for your vein to pop up. And then once they've got the line in, they just put it underneath your arm to keep your arm warm when they're putting the drip in. But I find that you do get cold, because I think the flush makes you the coldest because it's the saline. So they give you the drug in, so it's the same amount as the saline. The saline is a whole bag that you have after you have your bag full of drugs. So it takes an hour to get the bag of drugs, and that's the Tysabri, and then you have to be there for another hour for the saline to wash the vein afterwards. Once you've been there for a year here in New Zealand, once you've been on it for a year, you can have half a bag of saline afterwards instead of the whole bag. It's a quicker flush, they call it. So yeah, or I'm not sure, or they speed up the flush. I'm not sure which way they do it, and you still have a whole bag. I just know it takes half an hour instead of an hour, because they're always asking, how long have you been coming now? And I know it's March that I've been going a year. So, and then every 3 months they do the JVC test to make sure that you can still take the Tysabri. And I've just had the results back from my JVC and everything's negative, so everything's fine. But I assumed it would be because I haven't been sick. Dave has, but I haven't. Think he's going to get the flu jab this year since he was so sick. I just got a runny nose. My normal. Right. I'll make this off. So I am enjoying stitching on this, considering it's been so long. So my Blackberry Dragon, with doing 1,000 stitches on it the other day, it really pushed it along. I was amazed that I only have 32,000 to go on it, because with removing the background, but boy, it's a normal pain-free crafts. You do a few hundred stitches, change threads, do another 100 stitches, change threads. This is my only Charting Creations pattern. So, yeah. But I'm finding it really hard to decide what patterns to get from anyone now, because you just don't know what is AI art and what's not. Like cross stitch for everyone. I'm unsure about her patterns. So I was in her Facebook group, but I've just now removed myself from her group because I'm unsure. I actually think, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that all her stuff is AI art. So, yeah. And I just don't want to have AI art. I was surprised that one of the cross stitch studio pieces is AI art. I will rephrase that. I was really shocked it was AI art. I was actually flabbergasted that somebody recently said that it was AI art, because that was one place I thought I was safe buying from. So I will admit I was disappointed, and it just goes to show that you just don't know who you can buy from now. And with finishing the Haid sale, you're allowed, if you finish it, you can pick 2 free patterns. I don't know. I don't know if I want to. I just, yeah, it's a real dilemma, this, how I feel about it. Yeah. And it's so easy to buy something and then find out later on that is AI art, and then get caught in that dilemma. Well, I paid good money for it. Yeah. Until it starts getting to the stage that they have to report it, that what it is, nothing's going to change. And I don't think that law is going to change anytime soon. I do know that you can't. They were trying to copyright AI art. They cannot copyright it. Thank goodness. Nope. AI art cannot be copyrighted, because the law is that if it's not a human, if it's done by other means than a human, it cannot be copyrighted. So, wow. I hope you've had a good start to the year with your stitching. Hope it's not too cold wherever you are. Or too hot. I think Australia is very hot. We are unseasonably cold here. This is the coldest summer for quite some years. And the coldest, drier summer. But to be honest, I'm quite pleased it's being cooler here, because I think it would be quite a shock to us in this house if it was really hot this summer, because it's a lot warmer here than where we were, even though we're in the same area, because we were living down by the coast and now we're inland. I think it would have been a real shock to us if it was really hot. I actually just did some, while Coco was sitting on my lap, I did some shopping online. And I actually bought a off-the-shoulder top, because I need a top that my doctor can get to my shoulder quite easily to give me this jab in my shoulder. So, yeah. And I know it's going to hurt, and it only helps for about 3 months, and I have a funny feeling last time it didn't really help, because frozen shoulder really hurts. I broke my arm last New Year's, or the no, not last New Year, the New Year before. And when I fell over, and I don't think that hurt as much. I didn't think it actually hurt that much at all compared to my frozen shoulder. That tells you something, doesn't it? And it lasts for about 2 years. My worst movement is if I'm trying to move my arm behind. That movement is the most painful. Like, you're lying in bed and you flick the covers off and then you go to grab them. That movement is the worst. And we've got electric recliners, and you go to reach down to put your feet down, and it gets me then. And yeah, like, it didn't hurt me getting my needle in my hand. It didn't really bother me that. I think my pain threshold is quite high. But yeah, my shoulder bothers me. I have, you get these pain patches here, the ginger and something pain patches, and I've been putting them on, but I'll see if I can reach one. Just a sec. There we go. Ginger patches for fast relief of pain, muscles and joints. Actually, these are quite good. They are quite good, and I put one on the front and I put one on the back to help. But my problem is that I can only do them every few days, because they have an adhesive on them, like a Band-Aid adhesive, and I'm allergic to that adhesive. So that's a bit of an issue. So yeah, so it's not the and it heats up the joints, so to keep the movement. So I do find them quite good. So I don't know, a box of them lasts me 2 or 3 weeks. And like I say, I put 2 on my shoulder, 1 on the front, 1 on the back. They say you're meant to stop using them if you come out in a rash. Yeah, well, I've continued using them, because if it's not, I'm in pain all the time, because I use my arm all the time. You're meant to keep using it. You're not meant to stop using it. And I was doing exercises every day, because I knew the exercises you were meant to do, because I had it on my other arm. But I've actually stopped doing that now, because it is pretty frozen, my arm now. So the exercises aren't really working, and it's just hurting. It gets to the stage that it is pretty frozen. But like I say, it took about 2 years last time, and it sucked. But last time I actually damaged my shoulder. This time I haven't. So it's a little bit annoying. I need to find out from the doctor whether it will happen on my other shoulder again, or since I've had it in that shoulder I won't get it again, I hope. So yeah. Well, I will leave you here. I will add my pictures in and do all that, because you can hear I need to darn this out. I've spent long enough. Hopefully, while you're listening to this, you can stitch. That's predominantly what I do when I watch Stitch With Me's. It's better than watching whip parades, because whip parades I actually watch more at night when I can't stitch and watch, because I normally miss what they're showing. Oh dear. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you in a week with my whip update, and hopefully I can get this up in the next day. Thank you.